Hey guys, Dave from Nerdarchy, for nerds, by nerds, hang out with these nerds.
I'm Ted.
Ryan.
Today we have another GM 911, and this time we have the Encumbered Cleric of War.
If you have a GM 911, you can send an email to nerdarchy@gmail.com, or you can head over to nerdarchy.com and submit it into the GM 911 section.
Now let's get to waging war on this encumbrance.
That's right.
So
You
first
win a
off,
war.
So DM Barking Spider has a cleric of war in his game who wants to carry around every
type.
single weapon that he can, and he's primarily using a halberd. Now he doesn't want to totally just go with the encumbrance rules because it's going to affect everyone at his table, and it's another jerk move to isolate this particular character.
Well, if it's got to be for everyone or for no one,
right?
Yeah.
So he's like, "What can I do?"
So he asks about using speed factor from 2nd edition, but if you go to your DMG page 271, there's actually a section on speed factor and how it can affect your initiative modifier. If you want to impose those rules, you can. But here's the thing: we were talking about this a little bit before.
We pre-gamed it
a little bit, yeah. And first of all, I don't think a cleric of war, carrying all the different weapons is a problem, and it may physically be a problem. Like he can't. Maybe he needs a horse, a wagon, or a caddy.
A weapons henchman caddy, because you do a little bit of a Happy Gilmore thing. Like, I think for the skeletons, sir, you may want to use the maul. Go for the 9-iron maul, and he just hands it over to the
Exactly.
said cleric, and cleric goes bashing away.
It'll add some cool role playing. It'll add a henchman in there, which is always fun. And pious people easily can find those type of followers,
Devotees, acolytes, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it would definitely be fun as long as it doesn't become too big of a thing as far as hogging the spotlight. But it would definitely be fun to be like, Jurgen, what do you think? How would you handle this situation?
And so for inspiration for Jurgen, I would very much want to base him off of Baldric from Blackadder, because I think that would be pretty hilarious. He's like, I have a cunning plan, and then proceed with terrible advice. Yeah.
Excellent.
So it could be an endless source of comedic relief, is all I'm saying.
So, and Ryan had mentioned off air, is the cleric wielding a halberd, is that taking away from the fun of the game? Is this somehow...
Well, I don't think that's his real issue. I think the issue is
across characters, as players.
Well, no, the halberd, the great sword, the great axe, the long sword, the rapier, the heavy crossbow, the maul. It sounds like a meme.
Yeah. There's that image. Are you going to reference that image? Yeah. So there's this image of this fighter from Pathfinder who's got just a rainbow of weapons just going across
the peacock
his back.
spread.
It literally looks like the iron throne behind him.
Yeah, and he's allegedly carrying all these things.
Yeah.
There comes a point where that's not really feasible, but it does boil down to, is it taking away from the game? Is it really affecting what's actually
everyone's
happening?
fun? Is it affecting everyone's fun? And can you, as the GM, get past it, or DM, and look to maybe legitimize it? So maybe you have that war horse or caddy squire character, or maybe you introduce a portable hoe or bag of holding that the cleric can use to cart these things around. Maybe a thing of his god, like a portable weapons rack type of thing, because it's a god of war.
Or maybe a cool magic item that's just mutable. It changes form.
That's what I was gonna suggest as well. I don't know how long this campaign's been going, but having a weapon that can change into any other type of weapon,
so he doesn't have to carry around all this stuff,
would be an awesome reward for this character. If the campaign hasn't been going on all that long, getting a squire or acolyte, it would add an NPC into the party, and you could have a lot of fun with it. I always find having an NPC in the party at times becomes useful, because if there's something that I want to get out there, or the party utterly fails a particular role, you've got someone to be able to say, well, what about such and such? So those are some ideas that
I prefer my henchmen and followers to be more inept.
So, an interesting thing too, I'm not sure what deity this is, if this is from a pre-published sort of thing, or if this is a homebrew or whatever. But you could introduce like a scripture or something that the player discovers that basically his god frowns upon the idea of a weapon that's unused, essentially, because if you're carrying around an arsenal of weapons, you're not using them all the time. So like the idea of a weapon that's like unbloodied, or like that, just the idea that it's almost like a sin to see a weapon see disuse if you're worshiping a god of war. So I mean, you could introduce like holy tenets or scripture, some that the player discovers that like, yeah, this kind of displeases the god. Like, I don't know. I think it'd be an interesting thing to just flesh out a deity in that regard.
Right.
Odin is displeased with you.
Yeah.
Smart.
Now I'll take out your eye to further replicate the pains and the woes of Odin.
You must cut yourself with each one of those weapons.
Yeah, that's right.
Especially them all.
Especially, I'll figure this out. Yeah.
A true warrior
Would find this, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, just a quick recap. Is it really bothering you that much? Does it matter? Is it hurting the fun at the table? There are speed factor rules if you want to use them in the
Page 271
in the DMG. There are other solutions for carrying lots of weapons. If you want to implement those instead, you could make spiritual or religious reasons why you wouldn't want to carry all those weapons. All of which you can incorporate into your game, and I'm sure you'll get some other suggestions in the comments below. While you're at it, while you're down there looking, you guys can like, share, and subscribe.
You can hang out with us over on Facebook.
You can also check us out over on nerdarchy.com.
So until next time,
Stay nerdy.